Now, Michelle, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday, happy fall. I believe today we are having a roundtable discussion, but before we dive into that, I will pass it to our Executive Director, Matt Bogosian, for some updates. Matt, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate it. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. It's September 22nd. This is AMCC's National 30-Minute Call, same time every Monday, 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central, 9:30 Mountain, and 8:30 Pacific. I'm Matt Bogosian, Executive Director of AMCC, the nation's manufacturing community of practice. David Van Sicklen is our Operations Director. And we have some updates to the AMCC update that went out on Friday. If you're new to the AMCC network here, welcome. The AMCC update is a newsletter that goes out every Friday, and it's packed with all kinds of events, funding opportunities, reports, links to the Manufacturing an American Century podcast, which is cool, which some of you have been on. Also in the update are updates from regions across the country that you guys give us. So super important. Goes hand in hand with this weekly 30-minute call that happens every Monday for 30 minutes. So that's one way that we keep our relationships close, efficient time use, and working together, because you all are doing the work bottom up. So we produce priority products that America needs for the long term. So that's our basic weekly activities. And, David, if you could bring up that slide deck just as a reminder to folks, if you hadn't seen this before, we have this evidence-based framework that we've all kind of co-created together that starts with the first focus on key products that we need to produce, and 6 really overlapping big manufacturing industries: defense, energy, transportation, ag, IT, and health. And that first pillar, that first focus, also includes how we produce those products with emerging technologies. And yeah, we're in the midst of this new industrial revolution. We have lots of new technologies. We have these 18 federally funded Manufacturing USA institutes, each one dedicated to operationalizing key technologies for the mostly small and medium-sized manufacturers of our 240 some odd thousand manufacturers across the country. They're all relatively small operations. So that's the first pillar of focus. The second one is around the big 6, the elements of a subsystem within a regional ecosystem of support for those manufacturers. They're small, medium-sized operations, so they need help in each of those 6 areas to one extent or another. The lingo we sometimes use is the ecosystem of support, and it's different in each region, as most of you know. It takes state, regional, local leadership to put together that ecosystem of support, with all types of people leaning into it and all types of sectors. So it's not just the manufacturers, but it's the sub ecosystems around workforce, around supply chain, around capital access, et cetera. And so, how we sustain that is a big challenge across this country because we're so fragmented. And then the third pillar is focused on what we're shooting for, and that's sustainable development. And so the companies can produce those products and thrive, and their employees can thrive, and the communities where they're situated can thrive. And by doing all of that, then our nation can produce the priority products we need. And that's the challenge that we're confronting, and we're lucky to be all connected and working together. And we need to keep those connections alive so that we can have this forcing function to build and maintain relationships, common narratives, strategies, actions, and ultimately better structures in this country, so more of our people have the agency to add value to producing those priority products. So what's the update to the update? We've been pushing really hard on the number 2 from Friday's update around this, getting folks to put together comments in response to one or more of the 12 questions that the feds have posed to us and the nation. They want to be informed as to what ought to be our new national strategy for advancing manufacturing. And that deadline has been September 30th, but now they've just moved the deadline to for input, from us or anyone to December 12th. So that's the update to the update that went out on Friday. Be interesting after we do introductions to get people's take on it. I mean, I have mixed feelings about that postponement because, like, we need a good national strategy for advanced manufacturing as soon as possible. So speed and scale matters on these key verticals. So anyway, we'll see. I mean, we had presented, and David can drop into the chat, the four big ideas that we drafted, just to get the conversation going. But as always, we're interested, and some people are contacting us, offline to talk about their potential comments into this national strategy. So we encourage that. And we want to learn from you. I mean, that's one of our best things is absorbing your input and trying to curate, what that means for best practices for stakeholders in any region around the country. So that's what I wanted to update the update about. And like Michelle said, today is a roundtable day. Some days we have presentations. Like last week, we had Stuart Harrison from Oklahoma talking to us about a Fab Tech 2025 event, which was pretty cool. And then we really went on to talk about just other events coming up in October because it's manufacturing day, week, month. A lot of people are doing cool stuff. So when we do introductions and go around the room here today, if you guys want to highlight other events that we didn't talk about last week or new things or whatever around events, that's cool too. But you can also bring up any issue on a roundtable call, any challenge, any best practice. It's going to take all of us working together to really be prepared to operationalize some kind of new national strategy if and when it comes out next year. So these calls are important places so we don't reinvent the wheel. Let's see. So let's go to some introductions. And first, if there's new folks on the call, you just, you can raise your hand and tell us where you are in the region around the country, or what organization you work for, and we'd like to get to know you. And we can go around the room. So is there anyone new that wants to introduce themselves? Or if it's been a while, you can raise your hand. It's been a while. Well, how about Claire? Claire Michaels, welcome. Tell us where you are.
Sure. And I saw someone, I think Michael, you also unmuted yourself, so you can go after me. Nice to see everyone. It's been a while. Hi, Michelle. I'm with East Bay Works in Northern California. I work for the workforce development boards, but I focus on manufacturing. We've really been doing a lot to try to build the public workforce system's capacity to partner with manufacturing here in the East Bay. And I think since last time we've started our Train the Trainer events. We're bringing job developers and coaches on tours of manufacturers, sending them to externships, and also developing materials to help them understand manufacturing career paths. And that's about it from me. Also, just a little personal update is that I am planning to relocate with my family to the Sacramento area this coming summer. So I am starting to plug into manufacturing activities a little bit in a different region of California.
Sweet. Well, if we can help, we have lots of connects. Some of our earliest leaders were from the Valley Vision up there
Yeah.
in the Sacramento there. So some great manufacturing stakeholders there. And Claire, so cool about workforce boards, right? So we had a National Manufacturing Momentum Summit in Detroit a few weeks ago with our friends CREC and the Federal Reserve Board or whatnot. And there we met Jay Gentry from the National Association of Workforce Boards. So this is the National Association of
Okay.
Workforce Boards. And so we're having conversations with him about how we can help each other, workforce boards in general, really help on the big six of the workforce and training more effectively for manufacturing. And so I think it's a super important theme. We've seen on our AMCC roadshows, there's some workforce boards that are doing fantastic integrated, collective impact work, and then others, not so much. And
Yeah.
so that's a super important area that maybe we can engage on later on. So
Definitely. And I'm
thanks.
hoping to come to Stockton to your all panel, but I'm still trying to figure out how to get a ticket for the
Oh,
one day.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great. We are
Yeah.
talking on the call last week about the importance of in-person events in Manufacturing Month. And California is having a California Economic Summit where AMCC is going to be honchoing a session there. So yeah, look forward to that. Let's see. There was, Michael James. Yeah, please, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I was introduced to the group by Brian Kennedy with AMPAC. I am out of Southern California, but we are nationally. I am with Pay Nation. We are a B2B payment advising company. So we help manufacturers modernize how they accept payments, invoice, and reconcile through integrations with ERP and CRM systems. And I'm happy to be here.
Great. Well, welcome, Michael. Everyone is welcome here. We're free, open source. We have public, private, and nonprofit stakeholders as a part of it. So you're always welcome. Thanks for being on, and use the chat. You'll notice a lot of people are using the chat, to describe opportunities, events, and just connections. That's, we only do this for 30 minutes every week, right? So we're like totally trying to max out the time. So thanks for joining. Doug Merrill, welcome.
Sure. Thanks, Matt. I'm not new to the group. I've been on these calls for maybe 18 months or so now and getting a lot from them. And I decided to reintroduce myself, but also mention that the notice of funding opportunity for the Tech Hub program just was released on Friday. And so I'm sure there are other folks on this call that are either in the regional tech hubs or are partners of their tech hubs. And so if that is the case, expect to see a lot of activity from your local regional innovation officer as we prepare for this next round. Really excited about it. There have been some changes to the program that I think are honestly for the better, in that it really is addressing gaps in getting technologies that there's no longer R&D, but there are gaps in getting them commercialized and into the marketplace. And this is what the Tech Hub program is. It's what it was intended to do before, but they've sharpened their pencils a little bit and made it a little bit more clear that is what they're looking to fund. And so the deadline is tight. They're looking for the phase one to be done in early November. So if you are supporting a tech hub, please answer your RIO's questions and get them information quickly, because we've only got about a little less than 2 months to reply.
Doug, thank you. That's so useful to know that. And for folks that are new or not familiar with what all these programs we're talking about, this group has really helped to generate many federal bottom-up interventions, is the lingo we use, to stimulate regional collaborations to come together. So 15 years ago with an IMCCP program, then later in the first Trump administration with the Defense Manufacturing Community Support Program, and then the next administration with a whole slew of programs to include the Tech Hub program, which was modeled after this group's work. And so, Doug, maybe at some point, maybe we have you come on and just talk about your Tech Hub application as an example of the importance of these kinds of bottom-up investments and how other regions can learn from the good hard work you guys have been doing. Yeah.
I'd be happy to.
Great, thanks. Ralph, welcome.
Hello, guys. I haven't been participating in a while. I'm glad to be back. I love the bottoms up approach. That's the whole reason why I'm participating. I'm with a company that makes low vision products for folks who have really crappy vision. So we are a manufacturer in Montgomery County in Pennsylvania, and we have engaged a lot in reaching out to local communities to invite people having internships, making sure that they know manufacturing is cool. So any programs that help support that, we are always willing to try out new things, experience it, share it, and share the wealth, literally.
Well, that's
Glad to be
awesome.
here.
Appreciate your teamwork, Rolf, and please use the chat to make sure folks, are aware of your offering there. That's great. Other folks, Nate Ames, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I was connected with you all's organization through or by Courtney Taylor from Accelerate Mississippi. I was jumping on, trying to participate. We work for Ohio State University. We run a manufacturing leadership program, all hands on. It's kind of like an apprenticeship for undergraduate students. So they work here. They work here in the center for 4 years while they're pursuing their degree in whatever it might be, and then we try to kick them out to the real world and let them be grown-ups in a really big way.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you for being on and sharing your expertise and participation in this group. And if you haven't gotten the AMCC update, Nate, you can get it just at the website, or just send a note to David Van Sicklen, our operations director, and he can get it's free, and send us stuff that you guys think could add value to American manufacturing, so that we can curate that and try to fit that in. Buckley, you're not raising your hand, but I see your note in here about this manufacturing report, and if you could reintroduce yourself a little bit and just talk about how important it is to keep our thumbs on the pulse of what's happening with our small and medium-sized manufacturers, the trick in doing that, and how important MEPs and regional stakeholders are for having a steady diet of that engagement. Yeah.
Sure, thanks, Matt. I'm Buckley Brinkman. I'm with the Wisconsin Center for Manufacturing and Productivity, which is Wisconsin's MEP. Next Monday, we will release our 5th annual Wisconsin Manufacturing Report, and it's become a pretty dense, impartial view of manufacturing and what manufacturers are thinking throughout the state. So some basic trend data on how manufacturers see the economy, what obstacles they are facing, and then what they're doing to address it. And this year we've added some more detail on artificial intelligence and also the tariff situation. So we're pretty excited what's coming out of this report. There's some things that you'll yawn at and say, yeah, I knew that. Thank you, Captain Obvious. And there are some other things now that will really give you some texture to some of the issues that are facing our manufacturers, most notably around tariffs. We get some really good data from both the survey and the focus groups on what manufacturers are thinking about in that realm. So all of that will come out on Monday. It's part of what we do as MEPs to just stay in touch with the 98% of manufacturers that are small and medium size. And out of all of our MEPs, about half of them do a similar report. So reach out to the MEP in your state. Chances are they will have information that you can use to make your operation better. Thanks.
Thank you, Buckley. Appreciate that. And of course, I suspect you'll send us that report so we can put it in next week's or this week's AMCC update on Friday. Thank you. Roy Dickin, welcome.
There we go.
There you are.
Couldn't find my audio button. Yeah, thank you, Matt. Yeah, I'm with Strategic Value Plus, and the thing we're focusing on right now is supply chains. We're doing this for the many OEM projects that are already funded, and also the new people that are reshoring, because supply chains are, of course, a major part of all of that. And we help the OEM, but we also are looking to make all the small and medium-sized manufacturers that want to be part of that supply chain, make them qualified to do so. That's our major focus right this minute. We're actually taking an OEM at a time and explaining to those that want to be part of their supply chain what to do to be able to qualify. So thank you very much, Matt. I appreciate being able to explain that.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Please use the chat. Where are you, Roy, in the country?
I'm in North Carolina. We're headquartered really out of California, but we cover the whole country.
Awesome. Great to know you. Thanks for being on. How about
Thank you,
talking
Matt.
about North Carolina? How about Emma Runge? Why don't you reintroduce yourself to the group?
Thanks, Matt. Sorry, it took a minute for the camera to come on. I'm a Runge director at Launch Chapel Hill. We're actually running an accelerator program right now. Many of the companies in that cohort are either in the biomanufacturing or in an integrated construction manufacturing space. So thrilled to be here, y'all.
Yeah, that's great. A lot of good things happening in North Carolina, and important lessons that we need to share with every region. When we did AMCC Roadshow, Emil and team down there were often citing the compliments that North Carolina has gotten, for their innovative ecosystem. As if it's an overnight success. And I remember somebody saying, yes, it's like a 30-year overnight success. It takes persistence and a sustained ecosystem attention from all the different elements that are important to manufacturing. So thank you for your leadership down there, Emil.
Appreciate it. Thanks again, Matt.
Yeah, other folks want to introduce themselves. Barbara in Colorado, I see you on screen. Yeah.
Hello, how is everyone? I am in Superior, Colorado, and I'm in Boulder County, and I do fractional business development for manufacturers across the country. And many of my partners are in here, like Daniel Weirman, and great people. So I like popping in and hearing everything that's new that's going on in manufacturing. In Colorado, we're having our Advanced Manufacturing Expo October 7th and 8th. We would love to have you come and join us and see all the cool things that we do here. So thanks for the chance to have the shout out, Matt. I appreciate you and David.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys leaning in big time. And we have these Manufacturing USA Institutes, where I said that in my, the opening. We have, I think it's 18 of them. And you see Ben Linville Engler from up in Massachusetts Collaborative. And you dropped a note about you have an event, Ben. So, Ben, can you give a nutshell on these 18 institutes and the one that you guys have up there in Massachusetts?
Yeah, let me first just quickly speak to the event. So my name is Ben Linville Engler. I'm the Deputy Director and Chief Investment Strategist for the Mass Tech Collaborative. It's the home of our state Center for Advanced Manufacturing. And we are hosting our 5th annual Massachusetts Manufacturing Mashup at Gillette Stadium on Tuesday, October 21st. We're anticipating up to about 2,500 people from across the state and the region, manufacturers, legislators, academic researchers. We'll have about 300 or 400 high school students as well. So if you are in the area, it is free to attend. No need to be a Patriots fan. I am not one myself. Just don't tell our governor that. But in terms of the Manufacturing USA Institutes, we do have a FOA, the Advanced Functional Fabrics of America Institute in Cambridge. Our Center for Advanced Manufacturing has had a fund for the last 10 years to fund projects in Massachusetts in alignment with these Manufacturing USA Institutes, which are national public-private partnerships that typically focus on a specific advanced manufacturing technology, like in this case, functional fabrics, or it could be additive manufacturing or flexible hybrid electronics, robotics, and they're scattered all throughout the US, but great places for really looking at sort of the application of emerging technologies in manufacturing. We have worked with them on a project called MassBridge, specifically around talent and workforce development with community colleges over the last 3+ years. My colleague Megan Aboa-Bellin presented on that at the last Momentum Summit. So if you're interested, I'll put a link to the chat in that as well.
Well, thank you, Ben. And it really underscores something we talked about at that last summit about how do we help the institutes distribute their know-how around those particular cutting edge technologies throughout the country. Right, because each of the 18 of them, they're located in a particular physical place. And, it's not surprising that they are, most of those institutes, are most active with stakeholders in the regions where they happen to be located. And so that's a big challenge. It really gets at, if you have insights on how we solve for that challenge, how we can get the know-how in those 18 different institutes distributed around the country, that's the kind of input that the feds need in this new national strategy for advanced manufacturing, because business as usual, it's not going to cut it. I mean, so the first one, the additive manufacturing one called America Makes, it's in Youngstown, Ohio, which is cool. But we got to distribute, additive manufacturing technology everywhere around the country to our, 240,000 manufacturers. And so super important point of input for all of you guys. All right. So David, what do we have coming up? We have 2 minutes left, and I want to say thanks to everyone for being on, but we have some presentations coming up. What's the lineup, sir?
Yeah, thanks for that, Matt. So next week we will have Michelle Burris and Andrew Stetner from the Century Foundation on. They're going to be presenting against some of their most recent programs. We've got then an open week still, the first week of October. That'll be the 6th. If anyone would like to take that Monday, come on for 5, 10, 15 minutes, talk about some program or opportunity, some challenge you're having, please. It's an open meeting time still. And then we've got a couple of presentations coming in the back end of October as well. So we'll have more information on that in this upcoming Friday's update. And I've gotten a couple of messages from people this morning about having some issues getting the Friday newsletter. So if you think you should be getting it and you don't see it in the spam, please send me a quick email and I can help you get that resubscribed and going in your inbox like normal. So please just reach out.
Awesome. And we have 1 minute left. Dean, I see you came on camera. You want to quickly introduce yourself, sir?
Yeah, you mentioned American Makes, and I thought I better jump on real quick. So, my company runs the American Makes program, and even though it's based in Youngstown, Ohio, it is a national institute, and we've got members from all over the country. So anyone interested in additive manufacturing, you can become a member, and there's a way to satisfy the annual membership fee without ever paying us a single dollar, just by being involved. So all are welcome.
Awesome, Dean. Thank you for being on, and everyone for being on. I hope you guys have a great week. Keep in touch with us. Send us your material so that we can bring it to the fore on Friday in the MCC update, and we'll see you next Monday. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.